Hello students, in our last video we studied about components of nervous system. In this video we'll be talking about two types of actions taking place inside our body. That is voluntary actions and involuntary actions. Voluntary actions, as we can say, the actions which are controlled by our will. That, for example, if we want to walk, it's our wish, we walk and we give command to our legs, to the muscles present to the legs, and with the help of which we can walk. You pick an apple and eat it. That is your wish. You wish to watch some program on TV, and then you press the remote for a particular channel. That is our wish. So those actions comes under voluntary actions. Next, coming to involuntary actions, in which it can also be named as reflexes, as the thing happens unknowingly. These actions happens unknowingly. What is reflex action? Reflex action is an automatic, quick, immediate, involuntary actions in the body brought about by a stimulus. Stimulus, as we discussed earlier, that is a certain change that happens in the internal environment or in the external environment, and to that our body responds. So that is stimulus. So in the presence of the stimulus, if our body responds very quickly or immediately or automatically, so in that case that type of action is named as reflex action. So reflex action, we can see it is these are of two types. Okay, let us first see how this reflex action takes place. Suppose if we have placed our hand upon a candle, burning candle, immediately we remove the hand. How does it happen? Within fraction of seconds we remove our hand. How does it happen? When our hand touches a hot object, suddenly the impulse is sent by the help of the sensory organs to the spinal cord. This red color is the sensory organ to the spinal cord. That is also known as afferent neuron. So, by the afferent neuron, the impulse is sent to the spinal cord. Then, by the help of association neuron or connecting neuron or relay neuron, it is then impulse is transferred to the efferent neuron or the motor neuron. Then, the spinal cord immediately decides what to do, and then it sends the impulse by the help of, you can see, the blue colored neuron, and then it sends the impulse to the muscles, and the impulse says that you should remove the hand immediately. So immediately we withdraw our hand. So this is the path how the reflex action works. This is also known as reflex arc of the or the reflex pathway. So in this case what happens normally, why reflex action happens? It is to protect our body from injury, from sudden injury. So if our body is subjected to certain type of condition which at the time of which we should immediately take action, so at that time our involuntary action comes to play, and that we can call it also as reflex action comes to play. So this is what happens in case of reflex action. So there are two types of reflex action. We can see that is a natural reflex action, means that is inborn, means that is right from the birth we can see this type of reflex action. Like take for example blinking of eyes, coughing or sneezing when certain thing tries to enters inside our body. So that is a type of natural reflexes which are inborn. The next is conditioned or acquired reflexes. Conditioned or acquired reflexes, we can uh, call it as the reflexes which we learn during our lifetime, like tying the shoelace. If I say a 1 year, or if I say a 3 year old child to tie up the shoelace, that child won't able to tie up unless and until that child tries to learn it. But if I say to an adult to tie up the shoelace, so at that time what happens, so immediately that person ties the shoelace as by talking or by doing certain different activities. Simultaneously he can do both the work. So this is a type of conditioned reflexes, in which case what happens, the person or the individual learn during his or her lifetime. So there are two types of reflexes, natural and conditioned reflexes. So here is a pathway arc we can see here, that is stimulus. Suppose a bright light is falling on the eye, so that is, we can call it as a stimulus. A stimulus is carried to the eye, that is a receptor. So bright light acts as a stimulus, it is falling on the eye, that is receptor. By the help of sensory nerves it moves to the brain. From the brain it moves to the effector, and from the effector it moves to the responses, that is pupil shrinks. So in case of reflex arc, brain brain, the involvement of brain is very less, but there is more and more involvement of spinal cord. So more and more decision during this case, more and more decisions are taken by the spinal cord in this type of reflex action, and very few is conducted to the brain. Okay, so these are the types of reflexes which we studied now. So hence we completed the chapter nervous system.